Does Little Nightmares have any plot holes? From the time travel in Ocarina of Time, to the mystery of not getting infected during Resident Evil gameplay, gaming has given us some of the greatest plot holes of all time. But Little Nightmares is different. The series is built around ambiguity, intentionally leaving things up to interpretation. Because the game doesn't provide clear explanations for its character's plot or world, there's nothing to contradict. Meaning, on the surface, Little Nightmares seems immune to plot holes. This is the conclusion I came to while researching for this video, but instead of scrapping the idea and moving on like a normal person, my ass would not back down. There just had to be something, somewhere across the expanded universe of spin-off games, DLC, and podcasts. They must have slipped up at least once, right? I started with the original print comics from 2017, and my god is it ridden with plot holes. Like, why are the guests in the Pale City? Why are precisely 0 of 6's supposed friends in Little Nightmares 1? And the list goes on. These are undeniable plot holes. So this video was worth making after all. Well, the print comics are faint memories and recollections from the children's lives outside of the mall, told to the best of their abilities. I've seen some people use this as a justification for the amount of plot holes and inconsistencies in these comics. I myself have used the same excuse in my canon video. But faint memories doesn't mean the children straight up hallucinated entire events, characters, and locations. Many people assume that the comics were quietly decanonized since they were cancelled, but elements of these comics keep showing up in canon material. The Ferryman shows up in the Sounds of Nightmares podcast and is referenced in paintings in the mall. Furthermore, the Mirror Man, who is also introduced in the comics, appears in very Little Nightmares, albeit as a collectible. So fine, let's say it's not canon. So should I just scrap this video? Well, given that you're watching this right now means I must have found at least one plot hole that is both grounded in canon and undeniable, so let's dive in. At the beginning of Little Nightmares 2, it's heavily implied that Mono arrives to the wilderness by traveling with a TV. We know this because the nearby television appears to be powering down as he wakes up, suggesting it was recently active. But in the digital comics, we see Six encounter Mono before she's captured by the Hunter. If Mono has already just arrived via TV, then how come he's already there, perched in a tree before the events of Little Nightmares 2? This contradicts the implied timeline of the game's intro, creating a plot hole that's hard to ignore. If Mono arrives to the wilderness after Six is captured, then how is he there before she's captured? The timeline simply doesn't add up. Either Mono time traveled or the digital comics just messed up the continuity. This brings us to the second one. In Little Nightmares 2, the Hunter captures Six, but instead of killing her, he locks her in a room, almost like a prisoner or a pet, which is a strange decision for someone otherwise portrayed as brutal and merciless. Why go through all the trouble? But then, when Six escapes with Mono, the Hunter suddenly tries to kill her without hesitation. This strange shift in behavior feels inconsistent and doesn't add up. If he was planning to harm her all along, why didn't he just do it when he had the chance? If he was keeping her alive for a reason, what changed the moment she tried to escape? The Hunter's sudden shift undermines the logic behind Six's imprisonment. In episode 6 of the digital comics, Mono is cornered inside a broken TV, with the Thin Man mere inches from catching him. The comic ends with Mono having nowhere to go. It's genuinely unclear how he got out of this situation. Mono's stuck and he has no powers yet. Even if he did, the TV's broken and Thin Man is right there. The comic doesn't show how he escapes. There's no logical escape route and no hint of help or intervention. And if you think Thin Man would hesitate for 1 second to capture Mono, then take a look at what happens when you let him get you in Little Nightmares 2. So yeah, I was able to find some inconsistencies that conflict with the mainline games and slightly weaken continuity and character motivations, so turns out Little Nightmares isn't immune to plot holes after all.